there, and welcome into Tiger Talk. This is Gerard Wellbrock. Join us as we take a look at the Fort Hays State Tigers' win over Missouri Western and preview Emporia State. Hello again, everyone, and welcome in to our latest edition of Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock, along with head football coach Chris Brown, will chat about the Fort Hays State victory Saturday. Big home win, 35-27 over the Griffins of Missouri Western. First ever win over Missouri Western since the Tigers have been in the MIAA. It moves them to 6-2 on the year, and it sets up a huge game this Saturday at Welch Stadium in Emporia as the 6-2 Tigers take on the 7-1 Emporia State Hornets. At a 2 o'clock kick. Should be a lot of fun. So we'll talk all about the last game and preview the big one this Saturday between the Tigers and the Hornets. Tiger Talk presented by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail in Hays, and by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, 3505 Vine. Freddy's, the taste that brings you back. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, head coach Chris Brown will slide in. We'll get his thoughts on the Saturday victory. We'll do that right after this.
Around here, we believe in local values like hard work, family time, or a fair price on reliable internet from a local company. That's why Eagle Communications delivers great local values, like a range of internet options to fit your family's needs. Fast and consistent enough to power everyone's devices at once. All at reasonable prices we're proud to offer our friends and neighbors. Ready for better internet? Give us a call or visit eaglecom.net and discover our local values today.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock, joined by head football coach Chris Brown. The program brought to you by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, where they have their return of their fall classic, the Freddy's Pumpkin Pie Concrete. Fresh and creamy frozen custard blended with a whole slice of rich pumpkin pie, crust and all, topped with whipped cream, sprinkled with cinnamon. It's only at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, 3505 Vine, the taste that brings you back. Fort Hays State, big win on Saturday at Lewis Field, 35-27, knocking off the Griffins of Missouri Western. And congratulations, great bounce back win after the very disappointing game 2 weeks ago against a Washburn. It was a lingering loss, and it was in the back of everybody's mind. In fact, I think we talked before the game that Saturday couldn't get there quick enough, and team really responded. Good overall all-around win.
They did. Started out the game kind of shaky, fumbled the first, first possession, and they went down and scored, and you're just thinking about all those scenarios that happened the week before and how our kids going to respond to the, what's happening. But, our kids responded very well, came back, scored some points there, and got the lead eventually, and, never really gave it back. But really proud of the way they, got themselves back together and had a great week of practice, even though Tuesday was a little bit of a lull just because of, the hangover of the loss. But, kids played well. They did the things they needed to do to win, and you can't ask for more than that.
So you weren't the only one after the slow start and the fumble, and they scored thinking, uh-oh, here we go again.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be one of those scenarios again. Okay, what's coming next? All right, but our kids really did. Even when they scored, it's just miscommunication, having a little bit of trouble with their headsets, and one coach got one call, one coach got another. So when the signal came in, it was a totally different calls, and big gap opens up, but we're still there to make the tackle. We just didn't make the tackle.
I guess you look at this game, big plays and solid defense might be the best way to overall summarize it. You had some big plays offensively, and minus just a couple of breakdowns, your defense was really good.
They did. They played real well. Had the one big long pass play to number one, who we told him that he could run. I think that might be one of the fastest kids I've ever seen. But other than that, I thought we played pretty well. The drive, right before half, we're very disappointed in that. We can't give up points in that situation. We just let them run down our throats. But we got to get in a three-man front just for the pass game. So those guys up front got to find a way to stop the run, and then right there at the end of the game as well, we let them go down and score again. Right there towards the end. But those are the two scenarios there in that game that our defense and Phil played real well. other than that, you know, we did a pretty good job of holding them in check.
You know, they came in averaging 520 yards per game. You hold them under 500, I think 497, and right at 150 of those 497 came on that final drive before halftime, and then their final drive of the game when they got it to within 8. Two long possessions in which they scored. I know you can't take those away, but other than that, I mean, you held one of the best offense in the league in check.
Yeah, they did well. You know, they really did a good job of doubling Cito, doubling Shepard, and not allowing them to make plays. But you know, those guys finally ended up finding a way to beat those blocks and make plays. Schmidberger had a great game for us. Had 21 tackles. Going back, he probably should have had 31 tackles. But you know, Windmiller's a very good football player. I mean, the guy's very elusive. He makes guys miss. He keeps plays alive. The running back number 20, can't remember his name, but he's a powerful runner. He's downhill, very, very patient. You know, just his patience and his elusiveness on the football field is just amazing. How he just gives himself time, finds a hole, gets downhill, and he's always getting positive yardage. And I mean, they're a good football team.
Yeah, he had over 100 yards at halftime. You held him like 47 in the second half. So you did better after halftime, kind of corralling him because, as you said, he's a big, strong body and tough to bring down.
He is. You know, they say he's only 205, but he looks like he's 225. Yeah. He's put together very well, but he is a solid runner and a strong runner. And it's, you know, I'm glad we got to him and we're able to tackle him and keep him under 200.
Offensively, it was good to see the running game get going, especially in the second half and in that fourth quarter to kind of help give you a little separation.
It was, and it's just, you know, our backs been a little more patient. Sometimes they get in such a hurry, you know, to get to the hole that they're not letting those blocks develop. And then sometimes our blocks aren't there, we're missing a block. But you know, we just got to be more patient, let it develop, and seal our blocks up a little bit longer. And those guys can run and they can score at any time, so we just got to do a better job of that.
In special teams, it was obviously very disappointing in the Washburn game. Much, much better on Saturday.
Much better. You know, there's opportunities there. You know, Brandon was kicking 70, you know, going with the wind, going north, you know, during the game. And there was a situation there where I thought about letting him do it, but you know, you give him a short field and he misses it. It just makes it tough on your defense. But you know, he punted well for us. He kicked off well for us. Our coverage was better. And, you know, we finally started to get that cleaned up.
He missed the one field goal. Boy, that wind really took the ball at the very end. I thought he was going to get it through there, and he barely missed that one long field goal try.
I did too. You know, I thought it was close. It's probably one of those that could go either way. But, yeah, I think just there towards the end it hooked a little bit left. But, you know, if we get some taller posts.
I'm just going to spring that up.
It might knock it back inside. But we'll have to talk to Curtis about that one a little bit longer.
I think it's on the wish list,
yeah,
so it's been one of my goals.
Yeah, but, you know, it was there. It was close. He thought it was in. And, you know, I talked to the officials and said, Coach, it was so close. He said, they said he just barely missed it.
Well, it was a good win, 35-27 over the Griffins. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and recap the first half of Saturday's victory, and we'll do it right after this.
The year 1948, we said goodbye to the Babe. Truman upset Dewey, and KAYS AM signs on the air. Flash forward to 2016. This year, we said goodbye to Prince. We find out if it will be Hillary or Trump, and KAYS FM signs on the air. 1400 AM KAYS, now also on 94.3 FM. It's Hayes' greatest hits. KAYS, sounding great since 1948.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock, head coach Chris Brown, Fort Hays State winning over Missouri Western. We'll recap the first half, but first need to tell you about Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro. Great way to start your day. Hot cup of coffee, some of the breakfast favorites. You can stop by for lunch or dinner as well. They've got something for every meal on the menu at Mocha's. Use our handy drive-through. They're on 27th and Indian Trail in Hays. Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro. Tigers, as we kind of talked about, got off to a bit of a slow start, got the ball first, and Jacob running the ball kind of got hit, jarred it free, gave them the football. They go down and score, and as we kind of alluded to, it was like, uh-oh, here we go, but not the best of start on Saturday.
It wasn't, you know, and it just, you know, one of those things that just, you know, he has the ball in the left arm instead of the right. He probably doesn't fumble, but, you know, typical quarterback, still trying to run and figure those things out. But he'll get it. I mean, he's a good kid. He works hard. It's one of those things, they were just, you know, trying to get that ball out of there. And, you know, he was almost down, but they did get it out before he went down.
What you have to like, they score, but then you come right back next possession and answer, which after what happened in that game in Topeka was probably huge for your squad.
It was. You know, if we don't, you know, score right after that and then we have to punt again and they might go down and score, you know, who knows what this game might end up like. But we responded very well. It was a great pass to Kenneth Ahim, I believe, and wide open, nobody inside, not even close to him. But it was a great setup, good call by our coaches, and we needed that. It was huge for us.
41 yards from Iheem. Jacob distributing it well. The Washburn game, I think he hit 11 different players. Not quite as many this game, but teams have really still emphasized stopping your run game. And it's been neat how you've been able to still get the ball to your backs in different fashion. A lot of screen passes, a lot of swing passes, and that was a good example there. Those running backs still very involved, even though teams are not letting him run the ball.
Yeah, we got to keep them involved because they're very, very talented. Anytime Iheem's got the ball in his hand, or Shaq and Tigner, and those guys can score any time that they touch us. So we got to find ways to get those guys the ball, and if they're not allowing you to run it up front because they're stacking the box, be able to spread the ball around and get big plays, because if they're stacking the box, there's not a lot of guys in the secondary, so big plays can happen.
Well, they did. Tigers got the lead. They had missed their first extra points. They're up 7-6, and then you kind of touched on it, the big 70-yard pass. And Daiwan Ussery, you touched on it. You knew it coming in extremely fast. Things like he's faster than he was a year ago, but that was, he was down the sideline and scored it easily.
Yeah, I'm just glad we don't have to see him again. That kid can run. We're telling kids all week long, if we tell our normal alignment might be 10, you better get it 20 this week, because the kid's got some speed, he's got some wheels, and he does. He ran right by Dunnigan. Dunnigan probably just kept inside leverage, got a hand on it, might have knocked him down a little bit, but he almost had another one later on in the game too. But the kid's very fast, very, very elusive, and he can go.
For the most part, though, after that big play, you didn't let him just go crazy. He still had some catches. They kind of found some softness in the defense as you gave him a little bit of space, but you didn't let him have a monster game.
Right, after we saw, we knew going in that we hoped that we wouldn't give up the big play to him, but we did. So, we just loosened our guys up just a little bit more. It took a couple times, we might have doubled him just to make sure that he didn't get another play on, in third down situations. But we did. I thought we balled him up pretty good towards the end. I think he had 3 or 4 catches, and that was it, but still had 100-something yards.
Well, 70 of them on the one touchdown. After that, though, you're down 12-7. They miss another extra point, which would be big. Defenses kind of settled in. I think each team had a punt on their next 2, and then you finally broke free, found Lane Bieberly wide open, and the freshman made a big catch for a touchdown to give you guys the lead, and one you never give up the rest of the day.
Yeah, it was one that, it was just a great play by Jake, another great play call by our corner, Jeff Bryan, and seeing things that they were doing. But they just, anytime we sent that back out, they moved everybody over, safety sank down, there was nobody in the middle, and Bieberly's wide open for the touchdown, and that's a huge play for us, gives us the lead, and we don't give it back.
Up 14-12, they move a couple of possessions into field goal range, and Doyen Jabowo gets a hand on it, and they've had a lot of kicking troubles, and you continue to make that a part of the game by getting your hand on one.
Yeah, it was, and it's still that same situation. He came through, blocked the kick, hit the kicker, and I was like, oh no, not this scenario again. But they got it right, and we've got 2 guys back there now watching the kicker in the block point. But that's a huge play for us, and it keeps points off the board, and it keeps us having the lead. 7
plays, 80 yards on the ensuing possession. Shovel pass to Tigner for 5 yards for the score, but a 35-yarder that set it up was another unbelievable play by the playmaker, Charles Tigner.
It was. He makes people miss, and then he's going to break a tackle, and then he's going to go scamper for another 20 or 30 yards. It's who that kid is. He's strong, he's powerful, and he's always making things happen. And he's a fighter and a competitor when he gets out there on the football field. And it's fun to watch him play. He just enjoys it. He has fun. He plays hard all the time. If he makes a mistake, he worries about it for about 5 seconds because he's so mad at himself, then all of a sudden he forgets it and goes, makes a big play, and makes up for it. But yeah, that kid can play.
It's exciting. Another one of the youngsters really contributing here this season. And then probably the biggest disappointment of the first half, you give up that long drive right before the half after getting a little bit of separation. As you said, just a lot of it was done on the ground.
It was. I think probably 80% of that drive was all run. And we just got to do a better job of understanding up front. We got 3 men up front, 2 linebackers. We're trying to take away the pass. You guys just worry about the run, focus on the run, but we gave them some lanes to run through. And there's guys in position. We just got to make the tackle.
But the Tigers go into the locker room up 21-19 because of those 2 missed extra points. We will take a break, take a look at the second half, which had a lot of excitement, and we'll do it right after this.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayespost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock, head football coach Chris Brown. It's brought to you by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, where you can experience delicious cooked-to-order food, rich and creamy frozen custard, churned fresh throughout the day. It's at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, North Vine and Hayes, the taste that brings you back. Tigers up by 2 at halftime and really settled in that third quarter, a defensive battle. It was still 21-19 entering the fourth quarter. The way that first half had gone, I don't think anybody expected that.
No, we didn't. I mean, and that game seemed like it took forever. It's those 2-point games. It just, that clock can't run fast enough, and as a coach, your mind's just, all right, can we score? Are they going to score? Who's going to score first? Hopefully, we get these points. And it was just another game. But we finally came out in that fourth quarter and make some things happen.
Look like they may take the lead. They drive it all the way down to your 17, but you have a couple of sacks on the possession, force them to kind of go for it into the wind on 4th and long. They were kind of in no man's land, and Rashad Dunnigan gave up the long touchdown pass in the first quarter to Ussery, came through with the first of his 2 second-half interceptions.
Yeah, that's a situation too. I mean, I think twice in that game, they've done that little soccer kick or the quick kick with the quarterback, and we were going to prepare for that, and that's actually we put in Bacon for that situation, and they went for it, and Bacon's like, well, what are we playing? So I just told him, play cover 3, just play the middle third, and you got it taken care of. And it was kind of like a punt for him, but Dunnigan did a good job of getting the ball back, past the line of scrimmage and got positive yards.
Well, he got the interception and really kind of spurred the defense. You had 5 sacks all in the second half. Cito had a couple of more to tie the single season record, but you came up with some big plays on defense in that second half when you needed them.
We did, finally in that second half, that fourth quarter especially, some big plays came about and we made some things happen. C getting some sacks. Seamus got himself a sack. Dunnigan getting 2 picks in the second half as well, and just a lot of different things. A sack with a forced fumble as well. All those things go into play, and those are the things that help us win ball games. And our offense capitalizing on those situations and putting points on the board.
Well, one of those you kind of just alluded to it. The second sack for Cito jarred the ball free from their quarterback Windmiller and Justin McPhail. It was a scrum for that football, but he won that battle, got you the ball, and then you came back a couple of plays later. It may have been the very next play. Shaquille breaks off a 24-yard run to break that 2-point lead and give you a little more cushion.
And it did, and that's a huge place for us. And our kids responded, the offense responded the way we needed them to, and I think that's the first time I've really seen Shaq get downhill, break a tackle, and then worry about getting outside. If he continues to do that, he's going to be tough to defend. But probably our kids, responding the way they need to respond.
Had another possession, missed that field goal we talked about earlier going into that win and knocked it away. But then you got the ball back on another Dunnigan interception. And then 3 plays later, there's Cooper breaking a 49-yarder to push that lead even bigger.
Yeah, those are the situations that we need. And, it's still a very tight ball game at that point. And we got to make something happen, either run the clock out and not give them any time left or go score and, we end up scoring.
They do to get that final drive to make it interesting. They get it to within 8, but you recover the onside kick. So I know it ended a little bit closer than you'd hoped it would because of that last drive.
It did. I think they just like to stress me out a little bit more. Every single game, it's they just want to keep everything tight and make it exciting. I guess they just want the fans to come back.
I guess.
And have an exciting game. But we found a way to win. We hung in there and we kept battling and kept fighting. Every single play and. Just proud of our kids for bouncing back from last week to this week and getting this W. And
your first win as a member of the MIAA over Missouri Western. First time since 2000 that the Tigers beat the Griffins, had lost 11 straight. So only one more team left on that list, and hopefully this year's the year with Northwest, but nice to finally beat them. It was. It's that monkey's been on our back for a long time. It's really finally good to get that off. We had a chance last year at their place to win, and this year was another opportunity for us to do that, and we're trying to do a lot of firsts and make a lot of different things happen, and really get this program to have some tradition of winning all the time. And I think we're getting closer, and that's just one more step in the direction we want to go. 35-27, Tigers win it, setting up another big one this Saturday in Emporia. We'll talk about the matchup with the Hornets when we return for our final segment of Tiger Talk right after this.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here.
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM.
94.3 94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
Welcome back. It's our final segment here on Tiger Talk. It's brought to you by Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro and Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, celebrating their classic steakhouse favorite, the A1 Chop House Steak Burger. 2 sizzling patties topped with grilled onions, sauteed mushrooms, white cheddar cheese, and zesty A1 garlic sauce with an home-style bun. It's only at Freddy's Frozen and Custard and Steak Burgers, North Vine and Hayes, the taste that brings you back. Tigers on the road this Saturday at Emporia State. They had a thriller in Hayes a year ago, winning 24-21. In fact, 4 days is won the last 2 in the series. It had been for 7 straight, the home team always winning, and then you broke that a couple of years ago there, and then you beat them at home. But obviously a good Emporia team. They have only 1 loss. They're by themselves in second place, and obviously a chance to move into a tie for second. Obviously for postseason possibilities, this is a big one. You don't want to put too much on one particular game, but this probably up to this point now the biggest game of the year.
It is. Ever since our first loss against Central Missouri, it's been playoff mode, and for us to have a shot to even get into playoffs, this is a big game for us here with Emporia. Very good football team. They're in playoff contention as well, and want to stay in the playoffs. So, we got to find a way to go down there and beat them. But it's going to be a tough battle for us.
They made the playoffs last year, made a pretty good run into it until they ran, I think, in the 3rd round into Northwest Missouri State, who eliminated them. They've got a lot of players back in spots, but also a lot of new players, a new quarterback running the show. And look at their numbers, maybe not quite as flashy on offense, but very consistent all the way across the board on both sides of the ball.
No, they are. They're a very good football team. The quarterback's a very talented kid as well. They don't do as much as the zone read stuff as they have in the past when they had Wilson, but this young man throws the ball very well. 2 years ago when we went down there, both quarterbacks were out. He was the 3rd guy in, and he brought him right back and almost beat us. So the kid's talented. He's got a quick release, gets himself out of trouble, and they got a great receiving core. O-line's very strong and powerful up front, and their defense, they swarm to the ball and they get to the ball quick and create havoc. So it's going to be a very, very tough game for us. 2
of the top 3 teams in the league in turnover margin. They have the most takeaways in the conference. It seems like they've thrived on that, waiting for the mistake, forcing the offense to make a mistake, and then taking advantage of it.
And they do, and they blitz at just the right times. They kind of keep you off balance because you never know what they're going to do. They're going to play some zone. Are they playing man? Are they man free? Or are they bringing 6 or 7? They do a good job just keeping an offense off balance, and they're very talented, and they're strong and athletic up front on the D line, and their linebackers run very well, and their secondary guys get their hands on receivers and don't give them much room to catch a ball. So they're solid on defense, and there's a reason they got all those takeaways, and that's the reason why they're so good.
In-state opponent, and I know those games are always important, and battle for recruiting and all those other things. So that maybe even adds a little bit more than if it was someone from Missouri or somebody else. The fact it's another in-state foe, as sometimes the battles behind the battle for recruiting and other things that go big into games like this.
It does, especially for in-state kids. Whether you're looking, Wichita area, Western Kansas, Kansas City. All over the state. We're trying to recruit the same kids that they are, and it's the best kids in the state. So, winning these ball games helps get those kids here, and hopefully we go down there and perform at a high level, and makes recruiting just a little bit easier.
It'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully a big win for the Tigers as they continue their push to get into the playoffs. Coach, we appreciate the time. Again, congratulations on a nice win Saturday, and can't wait for this Saturday in Emporia to get here. Best of luck.
Thanks, Gerard.
That is head coach Chris Brown of the Fort Hays State Tigers. And again, that'll be a 2 o'clock kick from Welch Stadium. You can hear it on Tiger Radio Mix 103, 1 o'clock with the Auto World pregame show. Hey, if you missed any portion of the program tonight, you can always catch it online at HaysPost.com. And of course, the video replay, it'll be on Eagle Cable's channel 14 and 614 Tuesday and Wednesdays, 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. So be sure to check that out. Or, of course, you can see it online at HaysPost.com. Tiger Talk presented tonight by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, G&L Tired Automotive, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, Barron and Ball, Couture for Men and Women, BTI, and Horizon Appliance and Electronics, and of course, Mocha's Coffee Bakery and Bistro, 27th and Indian Trail in Hayes, and by Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, 3505 Vine, the taste that brings you back. That'll wrap it up tonight. For Coach Chris Brown, this is Gerard Wellbrock. So long, everyone.
get it. You work hard and play hard. Internet should be the last thing slowing you down. Eagle Communications gives you the speed you need so you can play hard and save cash. For a limited time, get 30 meg for $30 or 50 meg for $50 so you could work, play, and save. Call us at 877-61-EAGLE today.